Hey everybody, in this episode, we look at the question, can AI really see better than humans?
Welcome to Click AI Radio, where you'll learn the secrets to transforming your small to medium business. Grant has been helping businesses transform using technology for over 30 years. Advanced technologies like artificial intelligence have been available only to large companies and advanced technical teams. Grant will discuss how you can use to leverage AI and other technologies to grow your small to medium business. As a gift, Grant is offering his ebook, AI for Sales Growth, at clickairadio.com. Now, here's your host and biz tech geek, Grant Larson.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Click AI Radio. Okay, I have in the house today with me someone I've been very excited to talk with. He and his organization reached out to me, and I was quite surprised when I saw the cool AI solution that they have been bringing to the market. And Carlos has been giving me a little background on this, and I think you'll be excited to hear what it is he's putting together. But first and foremost, welcome, Carlos. Anchia.
Anchia, you got it.
Anchia. All right, there you go. Carlos, please welcome and introduce yourself.
Hey, Grant. Thanks a lot for having us on. Like you said, my name's Carlos Anchia. I'm the CEO of Plainsight AI, and we're bringing to market an end-to-end computer vision AI platform. Really happy to be here. Love talking about AI, computer vision, and how we can get more people to use it.
So tell me a little bit about what got you going down here. As you and I were just chatting a moment ago, there's so many components to AI. It's such a broad range of technologies there. What got you thinking about the CV or the computer vision space? What problem? How did you get started there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, like you said, AI, the breadth of AI is huge. You have deep learning, you have machine learning, forecasting, prediction, computer vision, and these are just a few. There's a lot of different applications for AI and places you can go down and succeed in. From our respect, we really focus in on computer vision, specifically how to apply that to imagery and video. Today, there's huge amounts of data going throughout the internet and in enterprise storage classes where you can't really extract the value of that data unless you actually perform some sort of computer vision machine learning on that type of data. So we're really extracting the value of the picture or the video so it can be understood by machines. So think of a dog and a cat in a picture, right? In those cases, the machine doesn't know it's a dog and a cat. You have to train it, and that's where computer vision comes in. And really, we got into it because we were pulled in by customers. Customers of ours wanted to start doing more computer vision and leveraging our platform that we had around high throughput ingestion and event-driven pipelines. So these customers came to us and said, hey, this is great. We'd love to really use this for computer vision. And the more and more that kept happening, we kept retooling around the platform. And finally, the platform from end to end is purpose-built to do computer vision technology. And it really allows us to focus in on what we're good at today, right? And that's really delivering value within the computer vision space.
So I remember the first time I wrote some of the OpenCV framework code, right? And that was my first introduction to it. This is a number of years ago. And I started thinking, oh, this is so cool. So I'm writing all this Python code, right? Building this stuff out. And then I'm thinking, how many people, are actually leveraging this platform? And look at, even though OpenCV is cool and it's got a lot of capability, it still takes a lot, to get everything out of there. So can you talk about how you relate to that OpenCV and what is it that you're doing relative to that? And how much easier do you guys make this?
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head there, right? So from a developer perspective, it's really around, I need to learn OpenCV, I need to learn Python, I need to learn containerization, I need to learn deployments. There's a variety of different companies that they're all great in their own right? Every one of those companies that we just talked about, or organizations, are contributing tremendously to AI. But from a developer's perspective, you really have to learn a little bit of everything to be able to orchestrate a solution. And finally, when you get to, hey, let's pretend we're looking at strawberries. Hey, look, I built a model that detects a strawberry. That is, you're over the moon excited. But the very next thing is around, okay, how do I take that and deploy it 1,000 times over in a field across the world, and understand how to make that in an operational fashion where it can be supported, maintained, update. And that's really where we have this crux of an organization where it's really different building something on a desk for a one-time use, and there's a lot of wins through that process. But then taking that and operationalizing for a business, driving revenues, driving corporate goals around why that feature is being implemented, that's really where we come in. We want to be able to take off that single path of workflow where it's a little bit of everything to orchestrate a solution, and provide a centralized place where other people, including developers, can go and help build that workflow in a meaningful way where it's complete.
So operationalizing those models, I find that's one of the biggest or the most challenging aspects to this. It's one thing, as you know, to build out enough to sort of prove something out and get some of the initial feedback, but to actually get it into production. I think I saw MIT not long ago, maybe this is a year ago now, they had come out with this report. It was through the Boston Consulting Group as well. They'd mentioned something about, hey, 10% of organizations doing AI are getting a return on their investment. And of course, when you look at all of the investment that it takes for the business to really stand up all the data scientists and all the ML work, and you can see why the numbers translate that way. So to me, it feels like not only are you doing this in the area of CV, but the problem you're really trying to solve, it feels like, is you're attacking that ROI problem, which is you could take this kind of capability into a business, say you don't have to stand up all of these deep technical capabilities. Rather, you can achieve ROI sooner rather than later. Is that accurate?
That's correct. And I think it's really through the adoption of technology. And you hit a really strong point for us there around the difference between it works and it's operational. Mm-hmm. That's really the path of you're less there in the CV world and more there with the DevOps, ML ops portion of it, getting machines running consistently with the right versions, a deployment strategy. That latter half of it, just as important as the model building pieces of it. Mm-hmm. But even after you get to that piece, you need a way to improve. And improvement in the model is very costly if it's not automated. Because you can just look at the loss for a simple detector like a strawberry, where if the model starts to perform poorly, you're not pulling as many strawberries out of the field. So you need a way to be able to update that model quickly, get training data into a platform, and push a new model back out. And it's really around how fast you can go end to end with that workflow, again and again and again and again. This is that continuous improvement that we have born into us from previous software development life. But really in machine learning and computer vision, your ability to train, retrain, and redeploy, that is where you really get your benefit out of your workflow.
Well, that really confirms my experience with AI. Typically, I'll refer to the term that we've been using, as we call it a smart step. It's that notion that I need to be able to refactor my models and take in consideration the changed context around me, whether it comes in from the world or from the customer or whatever that means. Some level of adjustments taking place that begins to invalidate my previous AI model, and I need to be able to quickly make those adjustments. That's fascinating. How long typically does it take for you to do that kind of refactoring of your models? Is it a day? Is it a year, a month? Or the answer is, well, it depends.
So it's twofold, right? So it's hours to do that, but it really depends on the complexity of the model and how long you have to train. But in an automated workflow, you're continuously adding data to your training set that are lower quality predictions, where you can retrain automatically when you hit a certain threshold, and then validate the model and push that back out into your productionalized environment. So when you go to develop these sort of workflows, you really have to start with whatever I build, I know I have to improve on later. So that improvement cycle ends up costing a lot if it's not part of the initial discussion around how do we count strawberries.
Right. So it's evident you and I can nerd out on this. Let me shift the focus a little bit and ask about it from, say, your customer, right? From their perspective. What is it that they need to be able to do to be successful with your solution? What skills or capabilities do they have to bring to the table?
Yeah, and I think I have this conversation a lot with our clients, and it's really less about them having technology around data science and building model, and more around a collaborative environment where organizations, they have a culture of success, but that culture of success is really born by holding hands through the fire. It's being able to commit and lean in when the organization sees something that's really important to them, either from a technical perspective, a revenue perspective. And it's these companies and these types of people that get to rally around a centralized platform where they can build and collaborate with machine learning, computer vision applications. And it's really interesting to see the companies that succeed here, because it's really based on a culture of winning, right? Where the win doesn't have to be the hardest, most technologically difficult problem, because complexity really drives timelines. And if you're looking to change from an organization's perspective, start getting the little wins. Get the little wins, start having some adoption within the company around, wow, computer vision is working. We've identified these problems. In a few hours, we have a solution deployed. You start building this sense of confidence in the organization where you can take on those larger tasks, but you have to start with a buildup. You can't just go right to the highest ROI problem. No one starts at human genome sequencing.
If you do, we got a problem. Yeah.
That's right.
Back up.
That's right.
So all right. So it means to me, it sounds like, as an organization, to succeed with this, getting my problem definition understood or crisply put together first would be an obvious thing to do. But how long does it take for me to iterate before I know that I've got value, that I've pursued the right level of the problem? You made an interesting comment a minute ago. You're like, oh, within a couple of hours, I could potentially retrain the model and have that back operationally. That means if I can fail fast, right? If I can pick my problem space, get something out there, operation, try it, fail fast, and then continue to iterate with AI as my helper, that's really, really quite powerful. Is that the model that you're pursuing?
It is the model. That's exactly right. And it's not just hours to retrain. It takes hours to start, right? And just to highlight, you kind of started with, we have to define that problem set first. So even after we define that problem set, a lot of times we have to go back and redefine that problem set. And really the piece around failing fast, it's experimentation. And do we have the right cameras? Do we have the right vantage point? Is the model correct? You want to be able to cycle as fast as you can through that experimentation phase. And sometimes you have to go back and redefine that problem set, because you're learning more as you go, right? And you're evolving into, okay, I now understand the corner cases a bit better. And with the platform, you really can cycle that quickly. I mean, machine learning at scale is really how fast you can iterate through improvement.
It's quite, I think it's quite a testament to how the AI just world in general is improving. I know that you and I were talking earlier years ago, when I first started writing some TensorFlow code and Keras code, the time it took to fail was much longer, right? And the cycles were huge. And And
Yeah.
getting this down to a matter of hours or even a few days, for an enterprise is massive. From what you've seen in terms of different industries, are there certain industries that tend to be leaning into this and adopting it, or is there no pattern yet?
No, there's a definite pattern, and in 2022 we'll all see kind of what that's looking like, and it's really industry that has traditionally not been able to go through that digital transformation. So think of a piece that's a very manual piece, right? Like physical inspection, where humans would look at something, they'd write down their notes on a piece of paper, then that item would go through either pass or fail or some criteria for rework. That's all possible now with computer vision. Years ago, that wasn't possible. The accuracy wasn't high enough, plain and simple. It wasn't better than a human. Now we have models that are better than a human for visual inspection, and these industries are digitizing their workflow. So it's not only the feature of computer vision, but it's also now I have a digital record of all the transactions. I have extracted video information. It makes auditing easy for those sectors that have a lot of regulatory compliance, those that require proactive compliance to audit requirements, as well as visibility. Visibility has always been, and it's funny, we talk about visibility, but it's computer vision, but like a lot of human processes, there's zero visibility in it. It's really difficult to audit, why is this working better or not? So having that digitization of the flow with the feature of computer vision allows us to extract the value. And industries like agriculture are going, I mean, agriculture has been a leader in technology for a while, but now you're really seeing adoption at livestock and row crop with drone technology. It's a very rich image environment. Medical space for computer vision in 2022 to 2028 is estimated to be billions of dollars just with medical imaging. And that's not the total addressable market for the hardware. It's just the imaging piece. Wow. So we see a lot of growth in sectors that are going through this digital transformation, that are adopting technologies that are now getting to the point where they can get pushed down into the masses instead of just the top 5 companies in the world.
Excellent. It seems to you, part of your comment earlier made me think about process optimization for organizations and the ability to extract processes. You're familiar with process mining, right? The ability to extract, out of logs of these organizations, and doing something like that where you can produce this visual representation of that and then building models against that to optimize your process might be an interesting use case.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
That's a really good point, right? Because that's a different portion of AI that can be applied to like just log analysis that then would allow you to go back and, okay, now that we have the process mined, where can we improve along the process?
Yeah, amazing. So many uses and use cases around this CV area for sure. So let's say that someone listening to this wanted to learn more about it. Where would they go? How would they find more about your organization?
You can find us everywhere, right? We have a website, Plainsight.ai. We're all over LinkedIn. We have Twitter. We're on Reddit. We have a Medium blog. There's a Slack channel where we geek out around computer vision use cases and how we can improve the world through computer vision. We're really out there, and feel free if you have questions, come reach out to us. We have amazing staff that are looking to empower people in AI. So if it's through just a question around how does this thing work, we'd love to talk to you. If it's, hey, we're kind of stuck in our journey, we need some help, reach out to us. We can help you.
That's awesome. Carlos, I can't thank you enough for reaching out to me and for listening to Click AI Radio, but also for reaching out and sharing what it is you and your organization are bringing to the market. I think you're solving some awesome problems.
Thanks a lot, Grant. Appreciate it. Always appreciate talking about computer vision and AI. And thank you to you and your listeners. I really appreciate what you're doing to the AI space.
All right. Thanks again, Carlos. And again, everybody, thanks for joining. And until next time, go get some computer vision from Plainsight.
Thank you for joining Grant on Click AI Radio. Don't forget to subscribe and leave feedback. And remember to download your free ebook. Visit clickairadio.com now.